Hello, my name is Kirioth, and today we are going to have a little chat about Games Workshop raising prices again. That intro got super low energy very quickly, but in fairness, I don't really know. We could do the conclusion to the video now. Should we skip to the conclusion, and then we'll talk about what the actual price is? Yeah, let's do that. Let's do it backwards. So, the conclusion to the price increases, as laid out by Games Workshop, bad. We say the same thing every time there's price increases. It's always bad. It's never good. No one likes it. No one's sitting there going, oh, hell yes. Yes. Inject the raised prices directly into my veins. I love a good price increase. No one's doing that. Barrier to entry goes up because stuff costs more. Hobbyists who are currently in the hobby may find that they are now unable to continue with the hobby due to the price rise, small though it is in a lot of cases, especially in combination with the fact that cost of living is going up significantly. I mean, if you're in the UK, you probably know that energy bills are set to rise by up to 54%, which is absolutely insane. It's just mental. But yeah, also like things, cost of food going up, wages are still stagnating, all this kind of thing. All good stuff, all pretty standard, as things should be. Just your usual capitalism shenanigans. I mean, they even say here you can hardly pick up a newspaper or see a headline today without mention of rising costs, electricity, gas, raw material, shipping, inflation is abroad in the land, and we're not immune to its effects. That's not a lie. I mean, we know they've been affected by things like shipping because stuff has been delayed all over the place. We know they've had issues with books, and as such they're trying to move some of the production of the books into the UK themselves. I believe they mentioned that in the last annual report. So we know that these things do obviously impact them. It's just they could probably afford to have it impact them a little bit more instead of passing the cost on to us, but they're not doing that because that's not how corporations work. So, regrettably, they're going to be increasing prices a little. So as they say, regrettably, they'll be increasing prices a little. So, the first lot, 5%. So, as an example of what you can expect on most kits, a box of Space Marine Intercessors, because of course they picked Intercessors, will go up just £1 from £35 to £36. Now, I have to admit, that's a good example to pick, because 35 to 36, whilst it's an increase, doesn't feel all that bad. It's just an increase of 1. It doesn't feel too rough. Now, if you'd pick like a £29.50 miniature going up to, say, £30.50, that looks way worse. That looks way worse, because you've gone up from that 20 to 30 barrier. That makes it feel far more extreme, which is, I think, why they've picked, obviously, a popular kit, but also one where it feels like a minimal increase, which I've just completely offset by giving a different example that sounds worse. A few things are going up by about 10%. Books, scenery, resin miniatures. Books is not surprising. We know they've had issues with books. Books have been a real pain for them. Scenery, I believe they still do most of their scenery abroad and then it gets shipped back to the UK for distribution and so on. So that doesn't surprise me all that much either because they've had real nightmares with shipping. Resin miniatures, I'm not entirely sure where that's come from. The increase in resin miniatures, it could be that the materials are just cost more now. Could just be they cost more. I mean, the only bit of experience I have in terms of resin is 3D printers, but they're not using 3D printers to make their fine cast stuff or their Forge World stuff, so that's totally irrelevant. Although I will say that I bought some more resin for my printers yesterday, and it was £1 cheaper than the same bottle I'd bought a few weeks ago, so that was a nice surprise. Anyway, totally irrelevant. Shut up. And there are a couple of outliers. Blood Bowl teams and metal miniatures, which are going up around 20%. Blood Bowl teams just makes me sad because those, when you look at the overall Games Workshop ecosystem, are quite good value. You have a full team in a box, you only need that and you're off. It's brilliant. I do like almost all of the teams as well. They're also a good introduction to people who want to get started painting. I know a few people who've got into painting through Blood Bowl teams, so the increase on those is genuinely a bit upsetting. So the price change will come into effect on the 7th of March, so I mean if there's something that you've got your eye on that you don't want to be paying an extra 5% on, especially if it's a larger model, now might be the time to get it. And of course if you wanted to get a discount on that, should I? No, that's way too... I can't get away with that. Oh my god. Oh, I've made myself laugh now. What a terrible place to advertise an affiliate link in this video of all videos, to choose this one to do the mid video. Like I have affiliate links in the description. That is beyond cheeky. That is beyond cheeky. I'd say that is borderline unacceptable. And I nearly did it, but then, like, I think my brain caught up in my mouth, and I was like, wow, really? Terrible. Anyway, although I've just mentioned them, do I need to cut this out now? Nah, screw it, I'll leave it in, whatever. I mean, should I bleep it? Anyway, we're writing now because we wanted to give you as much notice as we can. Oh, terrible. So that you can take advantage of the current prices. There are 2 bits of good news, though. There's a heap of things they've been able to keep at the same price, and there are certain currencies where we won't be changing any prices. Now, this one is genuinely good, right? If you are in Australia or New Zealand, you've been paying the increased prices. Like, you've been paying, like, the next decade of increased prices already for quite a while. This time round, though, you have been spared. You are not getting hit by this. Seriously, look at this. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. You are not going to get hit by this according to them. Now, they could be cheeky and slot something in later on, but hey, for now, you're safe. You are safe. You are 100% safe. I mean, come on, that's something. That's something. It's something it's like a tiny ray of hope to cling on to. I mean, if they're prepared to not smack Australia and New Zealand around even more than they already do, maybe there is hope for the world. I don't know. Maybe that's something to cling on to. I mean, in fairness, I think it's fair. I think it's fair that they exclude specifically those 2 currencies because a little known fact, which is completely true. This statistic is not made up. 8 out of 10 Australian and New Zealand Warhammer hobbyists only have 1 kidney. That's how bad the prices are. And I haven't just made that up. That's fact. Now, the other thing's not going up in price are the paints, brushes, paint sets, which surely that would make sense anyway, because paints, tools, and the majority of starter sets. Now, the reason they're not going up, and I was surprised by paints, because the paints have been a bit of an issue for them, as far as I'm aware, but the reason they've not gone up, it's simple and it makes sense. It's because that's your first hit. That's your way in, isn't it? So you go in, you get your starter set, you get a few paints, you get some brushes, you get the tools to put the molds together, and they want to keep that as cheap as possible because that is the entry point for a lot of people. So they're just making it so that with those specific products, they will eat into their own margins. They will do it for those because that's how they get people in. It's just for everything else, they won't eat into their margins. So, I mean, it makes sense, and I guess on the upside, at least the paints aren't going up in price again because they already did raise the prices a little while back. I say a little while back, it might have been 2020 they raised the price on the paints. Or was that was it 2021 they did that? The last 2 years have just been a cycle of just utter bullshit, haven't they, really? I've got no concept of time anymore. I don't know when anything was. And now, because we've already done the conclusion to the video, I've run out of things to say, so we're going to stop. That's pretty much it. I won't repeat the thing about the video things, because, let's face it, I really push my luck with that shit. Jesus. Yeah, I'll see you next time, I guess. Bye.